Welcome to another Lessons with Lemon. Today is episode 4 of my beginner series, and we're going to talk all about putting, how to hold the putter, how to swing the putter, how to stand over the ball, and how to make more putts. Let's get started. When I first start teaching students about putting, similar to the full swing, we start with the basics, which is the grip and how to grip the putter. Now, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of ways to grip the putter that work. I do what's called cross-handed. That's my cross-handed grip. There's conventional. You could put your fingers down the ball. You could put your fingers around it. You could do this. You could do this. You could hold kind of you could lock your arm together. You could do the claw grip. I've seen people do that. Or they even do it kind of like this too sometimes. But there is many ways to grip the putter. The key, I believe, is to find something that's comfortable for you and that you're able to do repeatable. We don't want your grip to be different each time. We want you to have the same repeatable grip with or on the putter, and that will help eliminate some variables. Also, when you're gripping the club, when you're gripping the putter, I want you to make sure that you're not gripping too hard and holding on too tight to the putter, because that's going to limit your mobility and limit the feel and touch that we need to have when we're putting on the green. So have a nice, depending on however you decide to hold the putter, and again, there's dozens of ways to do it, just make sure you've got a nice solid grip on the club, but not too firm that's going to limit or create any tension in your body that's going to prevent you from having a nice smooth stroke. The next part we want to learn about putting is how to stand over the ball. Now, when you're setting up to the ball, I like to see kind of a nice neutral stance where you're not bent over too far, you're not standing up too high. We've got a little bit of bend in the back, maybe the knees are flexed. And again, everybody's going to do this a little bit differently. So I'm just going to kind of give you the standard of how I teach it to my students and beginners. So just set up like this with a nice standard grip or standard stance over the ball. And ideally, I like my students to have their eyes pretty close to over top of where the golf ball is. That gives you a nice vision, a nice view of the ball, and it also gives you a little better view. Like with the pin over here, I feel like you can see the ball rolling towards the hole a little easier that way. So that's one thing I talk about. And the next part of it is I want to make sure that your feet are relatively square and you've got the ball in the middle of your stance. So you want the ball towards the middle of your stance. You don't want it towards the back of your stance, and you don't want it towards the front of your stance. You want it in the middle. And then ideally I'd like to have your feet pretty square, straight, in the straight line if we're putting like down this way. Something I like to use when I'm teaching my students, and I also use this to practice with at home, is a putting alignment mirror. And this helps with all the alignment, the things that I just mentioned. It helps you set up over the ball. You can look down in the mirror and actually see if your eyes are above the ball in line with that. The next thing I like to do is to make sure that your shoulders are aligned. And in the putting mirror, they've got a line right there that you can see in the mirror, and you can see whether your shoulders are aligned or if they're misaligned or how they're lined up. And the third thing is I like to make sure that their feet are nice and square and straight down the putting line. And again, with the mirror and all these lines, it makes it so much easier. So yeah, you basically set the ball in that, set it on a nice straight putt, set yourself up, nice comfortable position, make sure your eyes are above the ball, check your shoulder alignment, and then your feet, and then go ahead and practice putting. There we go. Now that you've taken your grip and you understand your stance, one of the next parts that you need to work on is how far back do you swing the putter. I've seen a lot of people, and I actually had a student last week dealing with this as well. So we have a short putt here, it's about 4 or 5 feet, and she was taking it back really far and then slowing down as she came through with her putter. And ideally, I'd like to see, if you're taking a short putt, to have a nice smooth back and forth, small, take it back a little bit and take it through a little bit, for a short putt. And then if you have a longer putt, take it back farther and go through farther. But one of the keys is I don't want you to be decelerating the putter head as you come up to the ball. The smoother your stroke is, and the more back and through it is, the better and more consistent your putting will be, and it will give you a much better chance to get the ball close or to make your putts. If you're decelerating as you're coming through, if you're taking a really big, wide, or a big, very big, large backswing, and then coming in and slowing down, it's going to be very difficult to control the speed on the greens and to have any consistency and to get the ball close to the hole. So again, set up to the putt. This putt is going to be a short putt, so we're just going to go back and forth a little bit. If this was a longer putt, we would be going farther back like this. Just like that. And then as you can see, for a longer putt like this, you're going to be wanting to take the club farther back and a little bit farther through, similar to this. Whew, close. Good speed. But the key is to keep the consistency, keep your consistency with how you take the club back and through with a nice smooth pendulum swing, and that will give you the best chance to make as many putts as you can. If you enjoyed this Lessons with Lemmon, please like, subscribe, and comment below what you're working on your game and what you'd like to see in one of my upcoming Lessons with Lemmon. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the putting green. Cheers, everybody. Have a great day. Just like in the full string, just putting. And what you would like me to see, what you'd like to see. Oh, talking is hard.